Recording in progress.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Okay. Shankuya, One Vision Ministry. Today I want to talk about captured, not raptured. Misrepresenting the biblical narrative. I know a lot of folks got bamboozled and tricked with September 23rd or something like that being said to be a rapture. I know many of us have probably in our Christian days watched Left Behind, and it put forth a narrative that's not biblically sound. So I want to kind of address that today and just talk on it and look at the scriptures and look at the biblical narrative in the text. So Abba Yah, thank you for the Shabbat. Thank you for this opportunity to talk to your people. May some edification come out of this. May some reasoning, some opportunity for iron to sharpen iron, so that your will be done on earth as is in the Shamayim. Yada Yahuwah. Hallelujah. All right. So I want to start off here basically showing the Noah situation. So I'm going to start off with Genesis 7. Let's go and share my screen. Let's get at it. Share my screen. Okay. Starting off here, we're going to start off in Bereshit. Bereshit, that's beginnings. Genesis and Bereshit means beginnings. So it says, and Yahuwah said to Noah, come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. So that was Noah, his wife, his sons, and their wives. So let's keep going. Of all the clean beasts, take with you 7 pairs, a male and his female, and of the beasts that are unclean, two, a male and his female. So it's acknowledgement right there that you have clean animals, and he brought 7 pairs, and then of the unclean, he brought 1 pair. But it's a designation. But then let me keep going. And of the birds of the heavens, 7 pairs, male and female, to keep offspring alive on the face of all the earth. For after 7 more days, I am sending rain on the earth, 40 days and 40 nights, and shall wipe from the face of the earth all that stand that I created. So as you see, the ones that was being destroyed were the wicked, the ones that he did not label righteous, but the ones that were being left behind were Noah and his family. And Noah did according to all that Yahuwah commanded him. Now Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters were on the earth. And Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives went into the ark because of the waters of the flood. So again, those that were left behind in this narrative were the ones that actually were saved, or the righteous ones. It was not that the righteous ones were taken away. The movie Left Behind had it that in that narrative that the ones that were left behind were not chosen because of their unrighteousness, that they didn't have relation with the Father. That's what that movie put out there. Again, the biblical narrative right there shows a whole different situation. So let's keep going. Going back to sharing my screen, and I'm going over to Bereshit 9 and just going to show you just one verse basically, but let's go. Let's get there. Share. So here in Bereshit 9 and what is called verse 11, it says, "And I shall establish my covenant with you, and never again is all flesh cut off by waters of the flood, and never again is there a flood to destroy the earth." So he destroyed the earth with water. He marked this situation with a rainbow. Rainbow is not for pride or whatever, as far as what modernly is being used for, but the rainbow would show his covenant that he would not destroy the earth with water again. So let's keep moving. I'm going to go over here into the Brit Hadashah or the New Testament, and I'm going to go to 2 Peter or Kepha Bet, chapter 3, verse 9. So I want to show you something here. It says, Yahuwah is not slow in regard to the promise, as some count slowness, but is patient towards us, not wishing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. But the day of Yahuwah shall come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with intense heat. So this alludes to fire, not water, but fire. And the earth and the works that are in it shall be burnt up. Seeing all these are to be destroyed in this way, what kind of people ought you to be in a set apart behavior and reverence, looking for and hastening the coming of the day of Elohim, through which the heavens shall be destroyed, being set on fire, and the elements melt with intense heat? But according to his promise, we wait for a renewed heaven and a renewed earth in which righteousness dwells. So just like the flood destroyed all the earth, and the only thing that was left was righteous Noah and his family. So there's a plan for the righteous to be left behind. So then, beloved ones, looking forward to this, do your utmost to be found by him in peace, spotless and blameless, and reckon the patience of our master as deliverance or salvation, as also our beloved brother Shaul wrote to you according to the wisdom given to him. So again, you had water, the first destruction, and then what happened? Those left behind were the righteous, the blameless, the ones that would carry on life and basically the dominion of Yah. If you see the beginning in the very beginning of Genesis, I didn't breed that, but you see that the man made in his image was to have dominion over the earth. If you go back to the Noah story, when he destroyed everything, he told Noah and his family to have dominion of the earth, be fruitful and multiply. So over and over, the earth has a representative of Yah that is supposed to have dominion. When you have the unrighteous here, basically that's not what he wants. He wants righteousness to be reflection of him. So basically, he destroyed it for the purpose of having righteousness be what's left. So let's, I just mentioned it, in the Brit Hadashah. I want to show you something back in the Tanakh that kind of matches up with that, because I see the Tanakh as the foundation. And if you don't have something in the Tanakh that supports something in the Brit Hadashah, me myself, I kind of I get leery of it. So let's go over to the Tanakh. I'm gonna go over and read a nice little chapter, or what's labeled a chapter in Isaiah or Yeshaya 66. That's where I'm going now. So share the screen. All right. So it says, "Thus said Yahuwah, the heavens are my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is this house that you build for me? And where is this place of my rest? And all these my hand has made, and all these that exist, declares Yahuwah. Yet to such a one I look, on him who is poor and bruised of spirit, of Ruach, and who trembles at my word. But whoever slays the bull strikes a man, whoever slaughters the lamb breaks a dog's neck, whoever brings a grain offering, pig's blood, whoever burns incense blesses an idol. Indeed, they have chosen their own ways, and their being delights in their abominations." So basically, he's letting it be known, he gave them a righteous way, but they not operating in the righteous way. They bringing forth abomination. So let me keep going. "I shall also choose their punishments and bring their fears on them, because I called, but no one answered. I spoke, and they did not hear. They did not, they did evil before my eyes and chose what was displeasing to me." Now, y'all may ask, like, okay, this is seeming like you're reading a lot, but where is this fire at? But let's get to it. Let's get to it. "Hear the word of Yahuwah, you who tremble at his word, your brothers who hate you, who cast you out for my name's sake, and said, let Yahuwah be esteemed, so that we see your joy. But they are put to shame. A roaring sound from the city, a voice from the Hekel, or the temple, the voice of Yahuwah repaying his enemies. Before she labored, she gave birth." Who is she? "Before a pain came to her, she was delivered a male child." Hmm. Who was heard? Who has heard the like of this? Who has seen the like of these? Is a land brought forth in one day? So that she gave birth, but a land brought forth in one day. So that child is a land brought forth in one day. Is a nation born at once? So it's talking about a nation. That male child is a nation. "For as soon as Zion labored, she gave birth to her children." But it was talking about one male child. But anyway, I'm rabbit trailing a little bit there. I'm gonna keep going. "Shall I bring to birth and not give delivery? Says Yahuwah. Shall I, who give delivery, restrain birth? Said your Elohim. Rejoice with Jerusalem. Jerusalem, and be glad with her, all you who love her. Rejoice greatly with her, all you who mourn for her, so that you feed and shall be satisfied with the breast of her comforts, so that you drink deeply and shall delight yourselves in her overflowing esteem. For thus says Yahuwah, see, I am extending peace to her like a river, and esteem and the esteem of the nations like a flowing stream. And you shall feed, you shall be carried on the side and be fondled on her knees. As one whom his mother comforts, so I comfort you. And in you, Jerusalem, you are comforted. And you shall see, and your heart shall rejoice, and your bones flourish as tender grass. And the hand of Yahuwah shall be known to his servants, and his displeasure to his enemies. Now, that's talking about that child, that nation. But Jerusalem is a land, but also Jerusalem also is a people, male child. But anyway, but look, Yahuwah comes with fire. Here come that fire. and his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his displeasure with burning and his rebuke with flames of fire. Has this happened? Or is this talking about something that's going to happen? Let me read it again. For look, Yahuwah comes, not he came, he comes with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his displeasure with burning and his rebuke with flames of fire. Now, maybe you could say that I'm going to add something here, but Yahuwah is not coming. His representative is coming. As we see many times when he's sent forth a deliverer, he said, I delivered my people, but yet it was his representative or proxy or his Messiah that came in his stead or as his representative. And it says, for by fire and by his sword, Yahuwah shall judge all flesh, not just Israel, but all flesh. And the slain of Yahuwah shall be many. And here's the key thing. Those who set themselves apart and cleanse themselves at the garden are one in the midst. So these people are going to be proclaiming themselves righteous. They're going to make themselves self-righteous. But here's a problem. Here's an indication of who they are. Those who set themselves apart and cleanse themselves at the gardens after one in the midst, eating flesh of pigs, something that he said don't do, these people will be doing it and be justifying it. And the abomination and the mouse. These are snatched away together, declares Yahuwah. Snatched away, not left behind, but snatched away together. Again, not left behind, but snatched away together, declares Yahuwah. And I, because of their works and their imagination, am coming to gather all nations in tongue, and they shall come and see my esteem. So again, this is something else that needs to be heard. Israel, it's not just you that he's going to be dealing with. He's coming and he's going to gather all nations in tongues, and they shall come and see my esteem. So even though he takes away those and deals with those, there will be a remnant left that come from all nations, not just Israel, because even Israel, if you're out of order, you're going to be dealt with. But he's going to come back for a remnant of all nations. And see here, let me keep going. And I shall set a sign among them, and shall send some of those who escape to the nations, Tarshish and Pool and Lud. You should look up and see what nation or what people these come from when it comes to the sons of Noah. See which ones they come from. But that's another topic. Let's keep going. Who draw the bow and Tubal and Yawan. The coastlands are far off, who have not heard my report, nor seen my esteem, and they shall declare my esteem among the nations. Because these people aren't Israel, but they shall declare my esteem among the nations. Now, this is the key part that we need to hear, Israel. And they shall bring all your brothers as an offering to Yahuwah out of all nations. Remember, we're dispersed through all the nations. But they shall bring your brothers as an offering. So they're gonna bring, Israelites are going to be an offering. They're gonna come in clean vessels. They're gonna be set as clean vessels to Yahuwah out of all nations, on horses and in chariots and in litters. These are those that are left behind on mules and on camels to my set apart mountain, Jerusalem, declares Yahuwah. As the children of Israel bring an offering in a clean vessel. See, remember, they have been set apart, all your brothers, as an offering out of all nations, and they're coming and being brought an offering in clean vessel into the house of Yahuwah. And from them This is all of Israel. From them I shall take for priests. So it just won't be Levites, but they will be taking the role of Levites. So, and from them I shall take for priests, for Levites, declare Yahuwah. So they won't be just of the tribe of Levi, but they will be of Israel, and they will all, a group of them will be taken to function just like the Levites did. For as the new heavens and the new earth that I make stand before me, declares Yahuwah, so your seed and your name shall stand. These will be left behind. And it shall be that from new moon, from new month to new moon, and from Sabbath to Sabbath, it's showing you the Sabbath is still going to be in place. Just like it's supposed to be in place now, the Sabbath will be in place when his dominion is established here on earth. And from Sabbath to Sabbath, all flesh, not just Israel, all flesh shall come to worship me, worship before me, declares Yahuwah. They're going to come, and his proxy, his representative, they're going to all come and worship before him. And they shall go forth and look unto the corpses of the men who have transgressed against me. So those that were destroyed, their corpses gonna be there. And again, and they shall go forth and look upon the corpses of the men who have transgressed against me. For their worm shall not die, and their fire not be quenched, and they shall be repulsive to all flesh. They're going to be there as a warning to stay in line, as a warning that righteousness is the standard, and those that operate in unrighteousness, their worm shall not die, and their fire shall not be quenched. All right, let me keep going. Got a little more to go. Still got more to go. I'm going to go over here and show another, just one verse, but I want to also confirm that again. So I'm going over here to Malachi 4, verse 1. For look, the day shall come, burning like a furnace, and all the proud and every wrongdoer shall be stubble. And the day that shall come shall burn them up, says Yahuwah of hosts, which leaves to them neither root nor branch. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So those that are left behind are the righteous. You know, this whole rapture thing, you know, see that September 23 proclamation and prophecy did not, it didn't pan out. It didn't pan out. They were captured by some foolishness, not raptured. Those folks that were misrepresenting the biblical narrative had people out there selling everything they had. Basically, now they're still here, broke and disgusted. But again, I'm gonna keep going. So I want to show a parable that Yahusha shared that kind of fits the narrative, of the Noah parable and also what I've been talking about. So let me keep going. All right. Let me see. All right. We're going over here to Matthew or Matthew 13. Share my screen again. Boom, boom, boom. We almost coming to an end, you know. So go what's listed as verse 24 is where we're going to start at. And it says, another parable he put before them, saying, the reign of the heavens has become like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed darnel, but most of us would probably read that as tares. This version I'm using, TS 29, 2009, excuse me, uses darnel. So that's basically the refuse part or the weed part or whatever, but the tares among the wheat and went away. And when the blade sprouted and bore fruit, then the darnel or the tares also appeared. And the servants of the master of the house came and said to him, Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? From where then does it have the darnel or the tares? And he said to them, A man, an enemy, did this. And the servants said to him, Do you wish then that we go and gather them up? Should we take away the tares? This is what is asking. Should we gather them up? But he said, No, lest while you gather up the darnel or the tares, you also uproot the wheat, the good part, the righteous part, with them. So again, you see what was going to be left behind still would have been the wheat, but they didn't want to damage any of the wheat in the process. So let both grow together until the harvest. And at the time of harvest, I shall say to the reapers, First, gather what? The tares, the darnel, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my granary. So again, the wheat will be saved. What's going to be taken away is the tares, and that's going to be burned. Hmm. All right. Well, I'm gonna finish off in Revelations. That's where I'm gonna finish. Basically, want to end this showing because many have been taught about going to heaven. And it's like, where did we get this narrative from other than movies? What does the Bible say? When I read that in Yeshaya or Isaiah, it said that basically he coming back with fire, but he gonna deal with the unrighteous ones, and then they were the righteous one left behind. Same thing with Noah. If you go to Genesis, what was his original plan for Genesis? That he created an image of himself to have dominion and represent him in earth so that his will be done on earth as is in the Shamayim. So if that is his will and what he meant to happen, that there would be a physical realm that reflected what he's doing in the spiritual, why would he not have that still done? If he's eternal and his heavens and Shamayim is eternity, why wouldn't he want the same thing for his creation of earth? His plan was that a man would have dominion and reflect his dominion in the Shamayim on earth. So when did that happen? If Adam, the first Adam failed, why would he not finish that or complete or have his word come to completion and not come but void? So, okay, let's go. Sharing the screen. And for my own purposes, I'm going to use another text because I don't want to share something that I don't believe to be true, misinformation. I don't want to share that, you know, I don't want to go further with misinformation, but I'm not. I talked about that on my own personal page on Facebook today. You can go there and check that out. But other than that, let me go here and I'm sharing my screen and I'm dealing with Revelations 21, starting with verse 1 here. And I'm gonna do a little, let me see. Can I move my, let me see. Let me stop the share and then I'm gonna see if I share it again. I want to get my big old head out of the picture. So I'm gonna minimize my big old head. There you go. All right, and it has a title over it, the new heaven and the new earth. But okay, let's go. And I'm gonna read from the King James, but I'm gonna change some words or whatever so if it applies to my beliefs. Forgive me if but you can read along your own way. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. So I saw a new Shamayim and a new earth, Eretz. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, Yohanan, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, Jerusalem, coming down. Here again, coming down. Say it again, coming down from Yahuwah out of heaven. Holy city coming down out of heaven. Not people going up to heaven, but the holy city coming down out of heaven. Prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Yahuwah is with men, and he, his representative actually, will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And Yahuwah himself, his image, shall be with them and be their Elohim. Just like it was established in Genesis, how it's supposed to be, his image was supposed to have dominion, be fruitful and multiply over the earth. That is what is going to manifest. And Yahuwah shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write for these words, write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, It is done. I am the Alpha and Omega. Now, that's where it's a stretch for me because this man was not Greek. He had used those terms. And of course, this is where the rub comes for me because now people have replaced it and say, I am the Aleph and the Tav. But if you go back to the Tanakh, when it talks about the first and the last, or the beginning and the end, the terms are used Rishon for first. Beginning would be akin Bereshit. So, but I'm gonna keep moving because yeah, that's something that has a frustrating because you don't see that nowhere in the Tanakh, that term of Aleph and Tav, nowhere. And it's Alpha and Omega again is Greek. He would not be talking in Greek. He's a Hebraic person. So he would likely be saying Rishon and Aharon. But again, let me keep going. The beginning and the end. And I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his Elohim. He's going to be the representative of Elohim on earth, just like the first Adam was, the second Adam will be. And he shall be my son. All right. I'm going to stop right there. because the whole purpose of this message was to show you that rapture stuff has you captured and it's BS. It's not real. It's not nothing matching the biblical narrative at all. It was hey, I enjoyed the movie. They even had other parts of it. So I enjoyed the movie. But movies have some great power. You know, actually when I watched the movie, I watched it on TV. It was a part of TV programming. Get it? TV programming. It's programming you to conflict with what's really written. A lot of times what we hear has more impact on us because we ain't reading. We've heard it said, but did we read it ourselves? Did we take the time to actually read for ourselves? And most time, no. My pastor said, and nowadays, Morey said, but did you read it for yourself? I just went through reading it for you. But you should don't even take my word. Go back yourself and read it for yourself. Read it for yourself so that the Ruach HaKodesh can get to you and minister to you. My voice should not be what you view as the authority, but the word that came through my voice, that's the authority. So you can start reading it aloud in your own voice. Be your own authority, I guess, but that word, let that word, that authority of the word come through your own voice. You don't have to be led by me. Again, I'm directing you towards the word. So yeah, follow me as I follow Messiah, as I follow Yahuwah. But again, get to the point where you yourself have a Ruach relationship with Yah, so that if I fall or if I mislead, if I mischaracterize or I misrepresent Yah, you'll know it. You'll catch it. The Ruach will be able to get you and say, that's not it. Have you challenging what's being brought before you. And I tell you, I'm one that knows from experience. Men in authority, when it comes to this Bible, have a problem with people challenging authority. But of course, the top authority is always Yahuwah. And as you see, almost every prophet, what did they do? They challenged the authority. Over and over, the prophets were challenging the kings, letting them know that's not what the book says. They weren't saying it like that, but they were saying that's not what Yah say. That's not what the word says. Become bold and read for yourself. Don't get captured by a man, because that rapture stuff is nonsense. All right. Abiyah, thank you for this Shabbat. Thank you for this opportunity. May there be some that have been sharpened today. May the constructive criticism come, all to edify your people and to have your will be done on earth as is in the Shamayim. Yada Yahuwah, Shabbat Shalom, Rest Rising, One Vision Ministry, Shankuya, Shabbat Shalom.